Long before Jeep became a household name, or even a word, America was already chasing off-road capability. Rugged, unconventional machines emerged not for weekend fun, but for wartime resilience and backwoods survival. Built in small numbers with big ideas, these early pioneers laid the foundation for the off-road legends to come. Take the FWD Model B, first produced in 1919 by the four-wheel drive auto company of Clintonville, Wisconsin. It was one of the earliest trucks to feature full-time four-wheel drive using bevel gear axles, a torque-splitting transfer case, and chain-driven rear wheels for added durability. Powered by a four-cylinder Wisconsin T-head engine making 36 horsepower, it was tough enough to haul 2 tons through the muck of World War I battlefields and later, the logging trails of early America. Mechanical complexity and scarce parts have made surviving units incredibly rare, but their legacy is undeniable. Next up is the 1938 American Bantam Reconnaissance Car, the true godfather of the Jeep. Built by a struggling Pennsylvania company responding to a US Army call for a light reconnaissance vehicle, Bantam delivered a compact, capable machine with a 1.8-litre Continental 4-cylinder, a 4x4 drivetrain, and a curb weight under 2,000 pounds. It hit nearly every military spec and introduced key design elements like flat fenders, a boxy frame, and a short wheelbase, all of which would echo through off-road history. Only around 70 units were produced before the Army, doubting Bantam's production capacity, handed the design off to Willys and Ford. Still, this little underdog sparked the entire Jeep legacy. Then there's the Cletrac HG from the Cleveland Tractor Company, a small crawler with big potential. Powered by a 133 cubic inch Hercules 4-cylinder engine, putting out 20 horsepower, it ran on either steel or rubber tracks. Originally built for farming, its low center of gravity and wide 40-inch track stance made it unexpectedly capable in rough terrain. During World War II, many HGs were pressed into service for hauling gear, towing artillery, and navigating areas where wheels couldn't cut it. Some were even converted into mini half-tracks, complete with suspension upgrades and armor. These pre-war machines weren't built for fun. They were designed to conquer brutal terrain in places where roads hadn't yet reached. More than just rare, they were foundational to everything off-road that came after. When World War II ended, the off-road scene burst wide open, with military contracts gone, but war-tested technology in hand. Manufacturers scrambled to adapt. Then there's the 1949 Willys Oval and Jeep Station Wagon 4x4, the first all-steel mass-market SUV in the US. While better known than most vehicles on this list, the four-wheel drive version was anything but common. Equipped with the Go Devil Flathead 4, a 3-speed Borg-Warner transmission, Spicer transfer case, and Timken split axle, it was a mechanical standout. Most buyers went for the 2WD variant, making the true 4x4 models a rare breed. Boxy, slow, and utilitarian, it quietly revolutionized the idea of blending off-road toughness with family practicality. Even deeper in the weeds of off-road history, the 1946 Dodge Power Wagon WDX. Technically, it wasn't a fresh design, just a civilian version of the military WC series truck. Powered by a 230 cubic inch flathead inline 6, pushing 94 horsepower, it came equipped with a rugged Dana 24 transfer case and a PTO winch, all packed into a closed cab setup built for ranchers, utility crews, and surveyors. With a hefty 8,700-pound GVWR and quirky holdovers like blackout lights and rifle mounts, early WDX models were practically hand-built military relics. Few untouched examples remain today. One of the early trailblazers was the International Harvester Travelall, especially the first 4x4 models produced from 1956 to 1960. Known for building no-nonsense trucks, International took things up a notch with the Travelall. It featured a stout inline-6 engine, a durable 4-speed manual transmission, and a solid front axle paired with a separate transfer case. Serious hardware for serious trails. Wrapped in a heavy steel body with room for up to 9 passengers, it was built to take families deep into the wild. From logging roads to snow-covered hunting grounds, most were used hard and left to rust, making clean survivors today about as rare as spotting Bigfoot in the wild. Next up is the Willys Jeep Forward Control Series, the FC150 and FC170. Produced from the late 1950s into the early 60s, These trucks took a bold design turn by placing the driver directly over the front axle. The result: packed footprint, impressive approach angles, and a uniquely industrial, almost cartoonish look. The FC150 was powered by a punchy 4-cylinder, while the FC170 stepped up with a straight 6. Built tough and surprisingly nimble, they became favorites for city maintenance crews and mountain fire departments. But their high center of gravity made them tricky on uneven terrain, and most ended up battered or scrapped. Another hidden gem from the era: converted Nash and Rambler station wagons. These weren't factory 4x4s. Companies like Power Wagon Engineering and Napco handled the conversions, transforming standard family cars into early off-road capable wagons. Buyers would purchase the vehicle, then pay for a coach builder to install a lift, transfer case, and heavy-duty drivetrain. The result was one of the first family-friendly vehicles that could genuinely handle snow-covered passes and muddy back roads. Rare to begin with, and even rarer in surviving condition, they're now coveted by collectors as off-road oddities ahead of their time. And then there were the Chevrolet trucks equipped with Napco conversion kits in the late 1950s. At the time, Chevy didn't offer factory 4-wheel drive, so if you wanted a pickup that could handle serious off-road terrain, a Natco kit was the go-to solution. These bolt-on setups included heavy-duty axles, leaf springs, and transfer cases that transformed standard pickups into rugged trail-capable machines. Some were dealer-installed, while others were fitted by resourceful owners in their garages. Either way, they stand as some of the earliest true American off-road pickups. This era marked a key turning point, when 4x4s shifted from military use to civilian life, taking on jobs in fields, on ranches, and across rugged back roads. Built for hard work and often worked to death, these early machines are rare survivors today, but their legacy is undeniable. They laid the foundation for the off-road trucks we know and love today. The 1970s weren't just about bell-bottoms and V8s burning rubber on the drag strip. They also marked a golden era for off-road muscle. As the horsepower wars raged on pavement, they spilled onto the trails, giving rise to a new breed of 4-wheel drive brutes that had no business being that fast off-road. These were torque-heavy, attitude-packed machines, rugged, rare, and unapologetically powerful. One standout was the 1974 Jeep Cherokee Chief. Far from your average full-size SUV, the Chief was Jeep's declaration of muscle. It featured bold fender flares, wide-track axles, and a lineup of potent engines, most notably the 401 cubic-inch AMC V8 pushing out over 200 horsepower and massive torque. Paired with a TH400 automatic or a T18 manual transmission and backed by the Cletrac full-time 4-well DRE system, it could climb rocks or blast through snow with ease. But early Chief models are rare today for a reason. They were built to be used hard, and most were. Few survived the punishment. Then there's the true wild card of the late 70s, the GMC Jimmy Casa Grande. This factory-built fusion of camper and off-roader was way ahead of its time. Only a few hundred were ever produced, making it a rare sight today. Underneath, it carried all the muscle of a full-size Jimmy, typically powered by a 350 or 400 small-block V8, GM's solid-axle 4x4 system, and a turbo-hydromatic transmission. But on top, a molded fiberglass camper complete with a pop-up roof, kitchen, and bed. Basically an off-road RV before overlanding was even a word. Its low production numbers and quirky design make intact examples nearly impossible to find. Another heavyweight from the era was the Dodge Ramcharger SE 440, a limited-run beast equipped with Chrysler's massive 440 cubic-inch big block. With over 300 pound-feet of torque, it was built to pull hard and play harder, whether towing or tearing up dunes. The SE trim added rare luxury touches, making it a true unicorn today. Most were beaten into the ground, rusted out, or lost their original drivetrains, which is why surviving, numbers-matching examples are now coveted collector's items. No conversation about off-road muscle is complete without the Ford Bronco Baja editions, a tribute to the Bronco's early victories in the brutal Mexican desert. These limited production models featured upgraded suspension, flared fenders, and bold racing graphics. While they often ran familiar 302 or 351 V8s, It was the attitude and heritage they embodied that made them special. Today, finding one with original decals and race-style gear intact is like striking gold. This was an era built on bold moves, loud, powerful, and ready to throw dirt. These rigs blended the DNA of muscle cars with off-road grit. They weren't just trail-capable, they were designed to dominate every inch of it. By the late 1970s and into the early 80s, a new wave hit the off-road scene: fiberglass. With rising fuel costs, stricter emissions rules, and a surge of experimental builds, lightweight composite-bodied 4x4s began popping up. Created by niche manufacturers and garage innovators, these rigs often looked like dune buggies but packed real trail capability. Rare and radical, they remain some of the most overlooked oddities in off-road history. Take the Ranger Kit 4x4 by Allied Fiberglass, a unique Jeep CJ-based kit offered in the early 1980s. Buyers would strip their CJ down to the frame and bolt on a lightweight fiberglass body featuring smooth, sweeping fenders, flat sides, and a futuristic front end. The transformation shaved up to 600 pounds off the weight of a standard steel-bodied Jeep, improving power-to-weight ratio, boosting rust resistance, and enhancing performance in sand and mud. Beneath the custom shell, the rugged AMC drivetrain remained, usually a straight six or small block V8 paired with Dana axles and leaf spring suspension. Very few kits were produced, and even fewer were professionally built, making an original Ranger an exceptionally rare find today. Then, there's the Hustler Commando 4x4, a fiberglass-bodied off-road oddity that looked like a lunar rover fused with a rally truck. Developed in California for military and utility use, it featured a tubular steel frame, a mid-mounted engine, and a full composite shell. Configurable as a pickup, van, or personnel carrier, it ran Ford V6s or small block V8s, paired with 4-speed manuals and divorced transfer cases. Available as kits or turnkey builds, fewer than 100 were ever produced. Most found homes in desert racing support roles or experimental military operations, making surviving examples incredibly rare and wildly unique. Among the rarest of the fiberglass oddities was the Dune Runner by Terra Cruiser Corporation, built in Arizona during the late 70s. Designed for border patrol units, ranchers, and off-road enthusiasts, it featured a lightweight fiberglass body riding on Volkswagen or GM drivetrains, depending on configuration, with reinforced leaf spring suspension and a spare tire cleverly mounted inside the rear body panel to lower its center of gravity. The Dune Runner blended buggy aesthetics with real-world utility. Its open-air, boxy form looked playful, but it could haul gear and scramble up tough inclines with ease. These weren't mass-market vehicles. They were part of a niche movement, small, scrappy companies trying to reinvent off-roading with lighter, simpler, and more affordable machines. But the market wasn't ready. Most people didn't understand them, fewer maintained them, and many disappeared into barns or scrapyards. What's left today are rare survivors, hand-built, unconventional, and often misunderstood. But make no mistake, these fiberglass trail rebels were capable in their own right, forgotten by time yet unforgettable once found.